to Elite Rugby Banter. It's the podcast about rugby. More importantly, support for Elite Rugby Banter is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, champions of the world. I have used it, and I can verify this. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped has also just launched in South Africa with their fourth-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. That's the one that they've so graciously gifted us here at Elite Rugby Banter with, and we can all verify that it is an outstanding product. Even Alex used it correctly, and he's not a very sophisticated gentleman, so it's good to hear that. But you heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off with the code EliteBanter at manscaped.com. So I'll just repeat that. You can get 20% off with the code EliteBanter at manscaped.com. That's 20% off at their website. And if you use that code, one more time, EliteBanter, unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. That being said, Ben, are you feeling confident? Have you unlocked your week with confidence?
I have tried to unlock my week with confidence, but FedEx isn't really facilitating that.
But you're working on it. You sent them a strongly worded email.
2 strongly worded emails, one to the website and one to their Mauritian representative.
Shame, poor Linda.
Yeah.
I even use my work email address to make me seem more serious than my Gmail address.
It comes from
I've done that before.
Comes with an actual thing. I used to do that when I was an attorney. You send it from that email address, and it comes from like a law firm. Then all of a sudden, there's a response.
Yeah. Well, that's like my job title is legal counsel.
There we go.
I have fuck all ability to sue people, but they don't know that.
No, you've just got the right buzzword in your title.
Yeah,
in your signature.
I've got the right optics. Adam always talks about optics, so hopefully the optics are correct.
That's totally working for you.
And I will soon be more manicured than I currently
Are we
am.
talking about Manscaped?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're just saying how FedEx schneid me, so I had to send some strong. Well, FedEx are delaying, so I've had to send some strongly worded emails.
Yeah. So I've got a hot tip, so to speak, which is, so first of all, the razor. What's the brand name? What's called the Lawnmower
4.0.
The clipper.
The clipper, yeah.
I think the razor is called the plow or something. There's an actual razor called the plow.
No, I was eyeing out the plow. It's like
one of those safety razors. I use a similar one for my face.
Like an old school safety razor. It looks badass.
I use a similar.
I might buy it using the code Elite Banter.
I don't know if that's a thing of a conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
Stop using our codes, Ben.
Jeez.
I can't use the code.
No.
You are.
It's for listeners.
Yes, it's not for you. I'm sure it says so in the T's and C's. But generally speaking,
so what? I can't use. So I must go to something else that's sponsored by Manscaped and use their code.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, technically.
Just basically, I think that's what all podcasters do now. Is just piggyback off each other's codes.
Yeah. And we'll just exchange codes.
Yeah, because I mean, if you want the performance package, which has the lawnmower in it, you also get the reviver, the ball toner, and then the preserver, the ball deodorant. That stuff's on fleek. It smells great.
I'm keen for that because I won't lie. Mauritius gets fuck off humid from about October to about March.
What was the term like ball swamp or something? So it's a term I think they must use in America. I can't remember what it is.
I don't know. I've heard of crotch rot.
So the
crotch rot sounds sort of one step further.
Yeah, cauliflower shit. Yeah. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, so I was saying the Clippers, whatever the official title for them is, they work a lot better on ball hair than on normal hair. Not a lot better, but like you tell that's what they're designed for. I know this obviously the hard way. I paid the high price for knowledge. But also, if you're listening and you're thinking of trimming your ball hair for the first time ever, like I did this weekend, then I advise you to trim it, to shave it, because shaving it all together is probably just a bad move.
Psychologically alarming, I'm sure, just to all of a sudden look at that.
Trimming it is great. Trimming it with this, like these clippers, I don't know how they like designed and I don't know. It was because I had more like trimming my ball hair than I did on my facial hair, which is probably the right way around. If you want to have like, you'd rather have a smooth shave down there than up there. But yeah, for some reason, it was a lot smoother on the nether regions.
Well, that was purpose designed with the. It is pretty sleek. It is the wireless charging, so it's almost like what do they call them? AirPods for my balls. So that's kind of how I feel.
Well, Adam, they should give us a better sponsorship with you coming up with cracking lines like AirPods for your balls.
Yeah, and like I'm coming up with gems like that, and I can't come up with a good name for a fantasy team. Like, it's just, it makes no sense. I did used to work.
How about AirPods for my brood balls?
Yeah, AirPods for your halls. I think we should all, because of our Manscaped sponsorship, I think all our fantasy names this year should actually be a nether region derivative.
For the URC?
Yeah, for the URC.
Yes, and that'll be your glorious return, Ben. I hope you draft right.
So something like deck the balls with bars of holly.
I was gonna say naked Vinipola rat.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. Matt's already on it. So yes.
But I don't think are there any Vinipolas in the URC? I don't think so. I think
no, they're like 30 Vinipolas.
Yeah, but I think they're all Premier League. I don't think they're URC.
Yeah. There's going to be one.
Like one rebel.
Yeah.
No, I'd argue no. Mako isn't Premier League yet. I don't think the season's kicked off. He's still technically a championship player, if you ask me.
No,
just ask the Sharks to buy one of them. They seem to have the cash.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and
just say, listen, Sharks, I've come up with a great fantasy name, but it involves a player not in the league. Do you mind buying him? They probably.
I think they would do it for the bands because I feel like that's the only reason they hired their line-out coach this week.
They just did that to give the lines a fuck you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get on that. That's a nice little segue. I forgot to ask. First of all, Matt, how are you? I didn't get the opportunity to ask.
I'm alright. My team didn't lose. Like their talismanic captain shifted into sideline coach position, so I'm feeling a lot better than some people.
Yeah, I'm bleak. Phil's probably super upset. We'll get on to that move. And then Alex, beyond being immaculately sorted downstairs, how are you?
Thank you. So my talismanic captain shifted to open side flank. I'm not feeling much better.
Sorry.
Yeah. But that said, he apparently had a hell of a game this weekend, and West Province snuck into the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll talk about that bullshit too pretty soon as well.
I'm actually okay.
Alright,
and I had a really good steak roast for supper.
Oh, that's nice. Well, it was my duty for supper today, so I've just fried a sirloin steak and cut it up. We're gonna have wraps so Natalie can serve herself. So
yeah.
But anyway, moving on, focusing more on the rugby. I guess actually we'll start there in South Africa. The Currie Cup is drawing to the business end of things, and in the final game, where I know last week we spoke about how the Pumas and the Griquas, two of the more smaller, bigger unions, if you want to call it that, were poised for a semi-final place. They managed to conspire to draw 13-all, and then many of us who backed the Sharks on our Super Brew, I think I lost my Super Brew now. I'm off the top of the table. The Sharks managed to lose to Western Province and allowed Western Province to sneak into, was it third or fourth? I don't have the table.
I think fourth.
Such bullshit. So they will now play. Are they playing the Bills? Yes, they are. They play the Bulls at Loftus.
Play the Griquas.
Yeah, while the Sharks then play Griquas on Saturday, Bulls Province Friday. I mean, I wasn't able to watch the game, unfortunately, Alex, but you and Matt, no, Matt didn't. Ben.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I watched a bit. So just a quick report on, I guess, the Province game.
Province came out looking for the bonus point. Like they're throwing everything at it for. Like I remember, I was like, "Fuck, this game is balls to the wall," because the Sharks weren't backing down either. But then at half time, it was like 17-14 or something. So I was like, so for all of that bloody going on, actually, not that many points were scored. It was pretty entertaining though.
Yeah, I actually stopped watching because
it wasn't that entertaining, obviously.
No, it wasn't bad. It was just the baby went to the grandparents for the night, and I wasn't going to sit around watching rugby after I just shaved my balls. So,
Indeed.
I did watch the first half, but sorry, I made it sound like I had like some big time at the time, but we actually just watched a shitty movie. But basically, yeah, I thought like West Bromwich kind of, like Ben says, they came out knowing what they had, which, to be honest, I would like to have seen earlier in the season. That I think it's actually been quite a help having Dion through and because what we're missing with all the Springboks overseas is the leadership, and I felt like their backline just looked a lot more organised. Their forwards have always been good, like the West Brom scrum and lineouts have always been fairly solid, I would say. But the backline is very disjointed. And playmakers like Edwell van der Merwe, and it just felt like they were unable to unlock them. And this week in particular, with Evan Roos and Warwick Land out, I think most people, including myself, were kind of out a little bit, and it was quite impressive for them to see the finals. I'm really hoping they'll go on a bit of a run and at least make the final. But it's going to be a big ask to beat the Bulls on Loftus, so we'll see.
Yes, and just Taja man Evan Roos. If you haven't been hearing about Evan Roos, sorry, oh, he's your boy, Alex.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry,
okay.
I never watched your side, but
okay. Oh yeah,
one of the songs like but
yeah, you're breaking up there a bit. So just a quick FYI. But just a quick shout out to Evan Roos. If you haven't heard of him, he's been tearing up trees in the Currie Cup and will undoubtedly, especially if you listen to the Cape Rugby fraternity, he will one day be a Springbok or go play for an overseas club and become a Springbok.
He's gonna play international rugby. The question is where.
where does he start?
Future British and Irish Lion Evan Roos.
No, well, the Irish need a replacement for CJ Stunder, so he seems the natural successor to CJ Stunder.
Yeah, let us hope it doesn't go that far.
Also, just quickly on that comment that Alex made about beating the Bulls at Loftus, I see they've already been making jokes at Western Province expense online by taking one of those milk crate challenge clips and tagging and sort of putting the Western Province logo on one of those cats who just fall gracefully off the top of it. So they seem confident.
Yeah, but they're so confident. Thanks, you teed me up there. Nice seeing that. That Jack White, he's also eager to lure Bismarck du Plessis to Pretoria. According to the report, the Bulls have begun negotiating with du Plessis, with talks between the two parties believed to be promising. We all know.
I thought Bismarck was sort of out of contract or whatever.
His last one was 2021. So I think he might be out of contract now. So we'll see.
He's funny because he's always felt like the most Bulls player that's never played for the Bulls.
Yeah, 100%. So maybe it could be a sort of Ruben Pienaar who came back to play for the Cheetahs.
To be honest, this is what Alex was saying about Dion Fourie. It's like, I'm not super opposed to that kind of these has-been.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I guess they are has-beens. And then they come in, they inject some experience. They sort of build up the guys around them a bit. The experience rubs off a bit, stuff like that. Like I'm not opposed to that.
No, I think that's the idea. And look, I mean, interestingly, I think sports nutrition has advanced so far. I know 37. I mean, rugby is a lot more physical than football, as an example. But sports nutrition has advanced to a degree where these guys they can do a decent job at 37. Speaking of where Bismarck was from, I mean, he went to Great Bloem. The Cheetahs, they could be a surprise inclusion for the season's European Challenge Cup. Coach Harvey Fourie revealed that the intriguing possibility ahead of the Troops' final Currie Cup fixture against the Bulls. The two fixture plans have already been drafted to help the franchise with warm-up matches. As everybody knows, they were excluded from the United Rugby Championship. And it's just they've been left in limbo, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Yeah, and I guess for those who don't know, the European Challenge Cup is the equivalent of the Europa League in football. And obviously they're stuck, so I hope they get it together. The Cheetahs have always been screwed around a little bit. And they only lost to the Bulls over the weekend, 39-36. It was very tight. And they did not finish rock bottom of the table. That privilege was left to the Lions. Speaking of which, Sigma Lions, Cash van Rooyen, he was spared the axe, and thanks Phil for sending that report through in the group. He's apparently had his coaching team strengthened with the arrivals of Jacques Fourie, Albert van der Berg, and was it Ricardo Loubser? That was another Springbok. I was thinking about drawing this in memory. But I imagine Fourier's going to do the backs. Van der Berg might do forwards.
Well, they need a line-out coach.
Yeah, 100%. And I just don't have the third one. I might be Loubser, but I could be talking nonsense there. So, yeah, the Lions are awful. I mean, even against the British Irish Lions, definitely looked the worst of all the teams, and they were virtually full strength. So the United Rugby Championship is going to be a bit of a struggle. But speaking of the United Rugby Championships, the fixtures, where are they? Been announced. I'm just trying to find them. So they've announced all the times.
So,
yeah, maybe you can help me out here, Matt, while I look for it.
I can't remember. I think they've announced all of them with broadcast rights up until I think around 10 finalized or something stupid. Okay. Like somehow they haven't managed to finalize broadcast rights.
Okay, so I've got it here. So the Sharks and the Bulls. So kicking things off from the South African perspective, or the whole tournament, Zebra, they face the Lions. Well, they say Emirates Lions, yes. So they might, I don't know if they've taken over, who knows. That's on Friday, 25 September. And then on Saturday, that's in Italy. And then I think all the South African teams have gone over. They might stay there to do all their games. I haven't seen the rest of the fixtures. Benetton face the Stormers, Leinster versus the Bulls. That should be a goodie, as well as Munster versus the Sharks. Broadcast time is a bit different for South Africa, but not really. 8:30, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is actually quite nice. 6:15. Sorry, it's 6:15, and 8:30.
2 o'clock on like a Saturday would be a nice fixture.
Yeah, it's a bomb, isn't it? And it's Benetton, so and they're a good side, so I think they'll be nice. So I think we're all excited, looking forward to these South African teams. But Steve Hansen can wait. Oh, the major thing is Warren Whiteley, the beloved Springbok and Lions legend, is going back to the Sharks. What coach has he been signed to do?
They've just taken him just to so the Lions.
Yeah. But maybe it's.
Was he ever at the Sharks?
He's from Durban.
I think he's like
Glenwood, I want to say.
I think he is. Let me see.
Yeah.
He may have played like KZN under at week or something, but I don't think professionally he's.
No, he's from.
Yeah, he started with the Sharks actually.
Did
he? Yeah, he did. He went to Glenwood.
No, I knew he was from Durban. I knew he was from Glenwood, but I thought he went straight from there to Gauteng.
Yeah, he went to varsity at Pucka, Northwest University, in Potch. So I think maybe that's how he ended up getting roped into the Lions system from then. But yeah, he played. It seems like, I don't know, is that Craven Week 2008, 2009? No, it's not. It's not. I don't know if he actually
'cause
played.
he's 30. He's older than I am. So
No, he's not.
30,
He's 33.
33.
Yeah, he's young.
33.
Yeah,
He's
and
older
his
than
middle.
I am, Adam.
Yeah.
I thought you were like 34.
Well, no, I'm not.
Ben's the youngest on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Ben's an absolute child.
Oh,
Ben's
Jesus.
not allowed to get
Well,
vaccinated
apart from when Ant appears.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
Ant is a child in comparison. I don't think he's even 30 yet. Hi, Ant. Hope you're well.
Child.
Yeah, I finished my game of Rome Total War and fucked me up. So I need to get revenge.
So all
On
his
him.
new age millennial tricks.
Yeah, I know. Hey. Him and his-
Zuma tricks, Ben. He's technically a Zuma.
Zuma.
he fights Stalingrad style, honestly. Anyway, we'll leave that.
What does that mean?
To cut a long story short, he sits around, waits for you to come. In a way, he plays like the box. He waits for you to come after him, and he's built his whole strategy around like killing you, forcing errors, and then game over. So I don't want to go into. I can go into a long diatribe about this because I was very bitter about it. But
Would you say you like the Ben Smith of Rome Total War?
Adam, do you think the rules of Total War should change to prevent Ant from doing this?
Well, I know Steve Hansen might think that because he's just talking cuck. His former All Black coach, Steve Hansen, said after the Lions series, he urged law changes. No, I don't think the rules should change. We had another battle, and I altered my tactics. That's also why rugby is so good. So
do Ant's tactics like put you to sleep?
No, they bleed you white, which is horrible.
Yeah.
So, but like how the box play, because I mean, from Hansen's perspective, he said the recent series between the Box and the Lions, they're playing a style of rugby that nobody wants to watch. I mean, other people who've commented about it.
I was curious. What is the viewership on? I'd
Yeah,
love to see the viewership on
I was
the
actually
series.
thinking about that compared to the Bledisloe, where New Zealand gave Australia 50.
Yeah, and where they can't
I
even
wanna-
fill half full
Yeah,
Auckland
I want
Park.
to compare that to some
In
of the
Park.
Lions games and just see.
Yeah,
But maybe that's the problem. People flick to it. They fall instantly asleep, and then they can't change the channel, and it just artificially inflates viewership.
Trapped you.
yeah. I mean, this is what he said. You've got two big packs, as he was talking on News Talk ZB. You've got two big packs and two coaches who don't have any faith in what's going to happen if they throw the ball around. You know, no, fuck you.
But
The-
literally,
like,
all our
opinion,
like, how many tries did we actually score from our forwards?
Very few, like one.
Yeah, like I think it was one by Marks.
Yeah, I think
No,
there's like
I
I don't
I'm-
think we scored a single one off the back of them all.
Yeah. No, the Marks one. Oh, against the Lions. you mean?
Yeah, against the Lions.
I don't know. I can't remember. I'm thinking of the Marks one against Argentina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think this is mind games because obviously Foster wants to get in Russie's head, but obviously Russie just plays on another level of mind games. So I think
Yeah.
Foster's big tactic here: let's send a highly quote unquote respectable coach to make some comments to try, rustle Russie's feathers a bit. So he sort of planted Hansen like, "Yo, go say this and I'll get it." And Russ is like, "What the fuck are these idiots doing?" Man?
Honestly, I think Rusty laughs when he hears this kind of like critique.
I reckon.
Yeah.
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 Also, Russie has completely detached himself now. It's like Ninama. He's playing the ultimate game now. People think the tactics to get to Russie. Russie's
Yeah.
not even involved anymore.
No,
He's
because
just
he wasn't
directing
even-
rugby. He's focusing on women's sevens and Borland or whatever.
He wasn't even on the plane.
Yeah, and Oaks are trying to get in his head still. Great
Yeah, I
play,
mean,
Russie.
Hansen, he said, let's slow the ball down, let's get off our feet, do whatever we can to make sure our defensive line is stable so we can keep battering. It's not a game that anybody wants to watch. Yes, we want a good physical contest. That's what the game is all about. Physicality, speed, using the ball. Could you say we saw it in the series? Of course we didn't, and it turned a lot of people off. All of a sudden, the All Blacks became popular again. I don't know, like at Eden Park. Let's hope the All Blacks can save rugby, in inverted quotes, by him. It's not about the All Blacks saving rugby. It's about everyone that's involved in taking some ownership and saying, right, we need to do something here. Again, fuck you.
They want to do something about those, but they don't want to do anything about Shannon Frizzell.
Yeah, I think the visa.
Yeah, my favorite
yeah,
that he got nailed, that he just couldn't get a visa actually.
Yeah.
to go to Australia. So
Well, yeah,
unfortunately, it
why
took
would
the Australian
why
immigration
would
authorities to do what the New Zealand Rugby Board could not.
yeah,
So,
why would Australia want a criminal in their country? It's like that doesn't make sense.
no sense of irony.
I was going to say I'd never be sarcastic enough.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why would they want a criminal? They wouldn't, because they already have enough.
Because they're playing in Queensland now, which I hear was the penal colony of Australia. So like, when you got sent to Australia and you did something wrong, you got sent to Queensland.
Now what I need to hear is that Townsville was like the
penal colony of Queensland.
Exactly.
Like if you fucked up in Queensland, you got sent to Townsville.
Look, I think Hans is talking shit. One thing he did note, and I think this is something we could always chat about. He did say the issue with the game, because I know there was that brouhaha from the British people. I couldn't be bothered. They were like, no subs. They're South African.
But I think Warburton's actually pedaled back from that even himself.
Yeah.
He's like, no, they completely not completely, but like it was like a misparaphrasing of the quote that he had initially made or whatever as well, that they were like widely publishing everywhere.
I'm not against there being tweaks to reduce size of players. And anyway, we chatted about this. The thing that Hansen said is, if you look at a quote, he said, look, there's no clear officiating of the rules. Mm-hmm. If you look at the rule book, it talks about a ruck, and it never talks about the breakdown. Breakdown is the word used more often than any other word in the game. There's not even a rule for breakdown. And we have an old antiquated law that says two people will bond over the ball and there'll be a ruck. Well, that never happens in the game. So, I mean, that's... Okay, as I said, I think when you're talking about the box, it's all nonsense mind games, but that's interesting. But I know...
When they say bond, do they mean like Dragon Ball Z style fusion dance? Like fusion, and then like, if they fuck it up slightly, it's like either a fat kid or a skinny kid.
Well, do you know what?
World Rugby literally went on an exercise to make the law book simpler, to shorten its length through clearer language. So, I don't know. Sorry, Ben, I cut you off there.
Oh no, I was going to say, if they're making props play for 80 minutes straight, about the best they can manage over the ruck is about a fusion bond.
Yeah, just
touch me fingers, be like, okay, we trying.
I guess talking of New Zealand, now this is exciting. Super Rugby Pacific. Wait, is it called Super Rugby Pacific?
Yeah, it's called
Super Rugby Pacific. It is. Hooray! I can pronounce it correctly. Sorry to our Maori listeners. It's going to expand to 12 teams next year, to include the two Pacific Island teams, the Fiji Dra and Moana Pacifica, and it's going to set to kick off on 18th February. And the one little kink is two small things. It's a round robin plus 2 extra games. There's 14 regular season rounds. 3, pardon me. 2 of those will be home derbies most likely, and 1 other to decided as yet. We do not know. And then the real rub of the green, you can see Australia got the influence. Sorry, but
home derbies as in local derbies.
Probably.
Yeah, so what they mean is Australian sides will play Australian sides.
How can every team have 2 home games out of 3?
I mean, Ben, this is the thing now. So if you're all playing... New Zealand's also small, so technically, I mean, it's all home derbies. It's like an hour's drive to the next stadium.
Yeah.
Sorry, a bit of a side tangent. I saw a thing Twitter about like the size of New Zealand. It's like pretty much that size Britain.
What?
Yeah, no, it is. It's not small. I mean, I joke about it.
Small.
I do joke about it, but yeah, it's not that small. It's population.
I'm looking at New Zealand.
It's about 1,000 kilometers long.
Yeah. I mean, you need to fly from Auckland at the top to Dunedin in the south. I mean, you need a plane flight there. That's for sure.
The total area is 268,000 square kilometers.
Put that in Namibia's for me.
Okay.
Actually, wait. There's a website for this. I did this when Queensland, like South Africa's the size of Queensland, which blew my mind.
Oh yeah, where you transfix them over each other, transpose them over each other.
That's what I thought. So the New Zealand one was like pretty much the same size as UK.
I mean, that track sort of just thinking of maps that do happen to actually include New Zealand, so less often than usual. But it does sort of, in my mind, fill a similar area. Sort of New Zealand, Japan, and the UK are sort of roughly all similarly sized in my brain.
Yeah, New Zealand nearly top to bottom fits in South Africa. It's pretty much actually almost a drive from Joburg, from, let me put it in Invercargill there, or from Tauranga through to Invercargill. It's
Because
sort of from Joburg or Potch to Cape Town.
Namibia
Actually,
is 3.1 times bigger than New Zealand.
3.1 times. This is now area, right?
Yeah, area.
Cool.
Oh, South Africa.
No,
No,
New Zealand.
Namibia compared to New Zealand. Let's say Zimbabwe, maybe. No, big Zim is.
No, Zim's quite substantial because it's like a nice, neat, like on its corner, like square.
Okay, Zim is 1.4 times bigger.
Yeah.
So we're getting close.
Mozam? No, Mozam's big. It's got that big top end.
Yeah.
I forget it's got like a big unit on top of Zim actually.
There you go. Sorry, I was looking for map fight. .yxyz.
So I wanted to make a joke about Matt saying big unit, but then Adam ruined it. Also, I couldn't think of anything at the time. Yemen, Zambia is big. Zambia is almost big.
Yeah, Zambia is also fucking huge.
No, Zambia is cuck big.
Any other ideas? Tanzania.
No, Tanzania is quite big.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Madagascar?
Yeah, there's actually a fair, like, compare island nations.
Madagascar.
I
Anyway,
think
how do you
Madagascar's
get
pretty big.
There you go. South Africa is 4.51 times bigger than New Zealand.
Madagascar's big? Mauritius? Not really.
No, Mauritius is probably 1/40th as big as New Zealand, would be my guess.
Mauritius is about 152 times smaller than New
Damn.
Zealand.
Damn it, those New Zealanders beat us again.
Yeah, fucking New Zealanders.
Anyway,
I feel we've
sorry.
digressed.
yes, we have digressed.
This
so
is
yes,
not a geographical podcast.
no.
This
but
is not where I park my car.
no. So in terms of the Super Rugby competition now, I mean, there's only 12 teams, but how the playoffs are going to work is teams that finished rank 1 through 8, they have quarterfinals essentially. So it's first versus 8th, second versus 7th, third versus 6th, fourth versus 5th. So again, another game, as the Aussies want as many games as possible. So look, it's a lot fairer than Trans-Tasman.
Yeah, but I don't like the idea of 14 rounds to shed less than half the teams in the tournament.
It's really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this often happens. But it was at one point in Super Rugby, less than half the teams actually went.
Yeah. This is the thing. That was the end of Super Rugby that the Australians were so upset about. Was literally that outcome where it was like 17 rounds and like I think that they shed the same amount of teams, like 6 teams or whatever.
Yeah.
And then remember how upset the Australians were. In other news, Georgia is 0.26 times as big as New Zealand.
Oh.
Yet their forwards are most probably like 1.3 times bigger than New Zealand's.
Yo, how can Hansen explain that?
Fucking science.
Any of you ever heard of the Pitcairn Islands?
No.
Well, they are about 5,720 times smaller than New Zealand.
Well, fair.
So, I mean, talking Southern Hemisphere, the fixtures, I mean, the actual broadcast times and kickoff times have been announced for the Rugby Championship. There's Bledisloe 3 taking place in Perth. That's on the 5th. No, 4th, 5th. No, it's 29th.
They get to play bloody free now.
Romania. Romanians are on the same size as New Zealand.
Oh,
Rugby equivalents. There we go.
So, I actually don't have the first one. So September 12th, that's in the Gold Coast. New Zealand versus Argentina is the curtain raiser, and then South Africa versus Australia is the big one. And then it's South Africa versus Australia. That's when it moves to Suncorp. Mitch, we hope to hear that you will be there. And then Argentina versus New Zealand is the last one. And then the 100th test in Townsville between South Africa and New Zealand on Saturday, 25th of September. That is this correct? Yeah, because it has this kicking off first versus Australia, Argentina, and then the next week the fixtures reverse.
Yeah, they sort of, it makes no sense. There's no like order to. I'm sure there is an order, like a discernible pattern, but it really doesn't make sense.
Okay. Well, I mean, the times are out. For South African people, that is 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. South African time is a 3-hour gap between kickoffs.
Well, I wonder,
I think
what
that's
do
when
you think?
broadcast starts.
What do you think sort of attendance is going to be like for those games? So say the ones where Australia aren't playing. So say Australia play the first game.
Aren't they double headers?
Yeah,
They're all
that's the thing.
double headers.
But they've like allocated like 3 hours, so there's like an hour downtime between them and all that as well. So say Australia plays first and so it would be what? New Zealand, Argentina, like the second game. Do you reckon the Australian fans stick around for that?
I think generally rugby fans are pretty into rugby across the board.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
you pay, because I imagine the double head tickets can be quite expensive. So if you pay for like 2 internationals, then like you'd watch them both, wouldn't you?
I don't. Yeah, I think they're not going to be priced as like 2 international tickets. I think they.
Yeah,
I think you're looking at like a
one
1.5 pricing scale or something.
But
No,
also,
sure.
do we know it's gonna be a double header, or is it gonna be?
Yeah, no, they've confirmed them as double headers.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I think that's our secret power, is that we're going to play one of our games in Suncorp, which is a huge stadium, and I think it's going to be barely like, oh wait, except that's the one we're playing Australia in. I was going to say, like, even if there's only a few thousand people, for us that'll be a lot, because we're used to playing in front of empty chairs. Whereas New Zealand and Australia would be like, oh, this is a poor turnout.
Yeah.
So we'll have the psychological advantage. Also, they'll fall asleep halfway through the game, and then we can just do whatever we want.
Yeah. Is that our tactic? Actually, make the opposition sleep. Is New Zealand going to fall asleep halfway through the 100th match, and then that's where we take them?
Then all of a sudden, you score like 2 tries.
2 entire whole tries. Apparently,
we will strike.
And they're both maul tries.
Oh yeah, I hope then at least we stick to what Rennie says and we keep them down to 20 points. Because yeah, there was that claim by Rennie. If you keep the Kiwis down to 20 points, chances are good of you beating them.
I think if the All Blacks fall asleep, we can probably beat by 20 points.
But you've got to stop them from scoring 20 points against you. So if we, I think, defend tightly, I suppose that tracks with our system. Defend slowly, bleed them, and they fall asleep.
But their own rugby is so exciting. It's like injecting Red Bull into your eyeball.
Yeah, but if we get the ball and just do boring stuff for long enough, they'll fall asleep before they can get the ball and wake themselves up.
We can checkmate.
True.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough, but I think we can do it.
So it's all about ball retention.
Exactly.
Which we
Much
luckily
like
we know something about that because of manscaping. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Adam.
No worries. I'll just let that phase play out as it should. Just very briefly, a group of All Blacks. I mean, I don't know why this is a bit of a story, but they were reported to have visited a COVID-19 place of interest in Auckland less than 2 weeks before they left for Australia. The New Zealand Herald reported that a group of players visited the headquarters bar in Auckland, which is now in a lockdown, because COVID cases are spiking there, after beating Australia at Eden Park 57-22 on August 14. The Herald reported that the bar was added to places of interest list by the country's health ministry on Sunday, with the ministry saying the bar was visited by an individual who tested positive for COVID-19 on the night of 14 August. I think what little I've heard about the New Zealand government are quite jacked up on the track and trace stuff.
I just want to say that calling it a place of interest makes it sound like a tourist spot.
Yeah.
I definitely want to visit this place of interest.
Yeah. The All Blacks.
It's not a very good name for a bar, but
the headquarters.
I want to go there now.
That sounds like a solid student bar, like the headquarters.
No, but we don't know the story. Maybe it used to be Microsoft headquarters, and then it got bought out by a small bar.
Yeah, like it's a bit of a nothing story because New Zealand Rugby's medical officer Karen Rasmussen, she said, yeah, the players are there, but they've been tested, they're negative and vaccinated. Sorry?
And I was just saying, Karen Erasmus, definitely one of us.
Yeah, one of us.
So our sleeper cell, no, she's like, yeah, no one has COVID. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Meanwhile, fucking the whole tour squad's
yeah. So like, what you're saying, New Zealand, then they send COVID players over to cancel the game against Australia anyway.
Yeah.
Is that the grand plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It actually turns out no actual New Zealanders, like none of the actual team on there. It's just like body doubles.
Yeah.
And they'll be like,
It's just like guys that
COVID.
look mostly like.
Yeah. Ollie Severe, he's been named captain of the All Blacks for the Rugby Championship. So good one, Ollie. And there was another piece of news. Yes.
Has Sam Cane captained the All Blacks yet?
Yes.
Okay.
He's playing very well, remember?
Foster got his contract renewed.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Before the actual real Southern Hemisphere showpiece, and Morgan Tuinui, he had some theories on this. He reckoned that there was a faction within the New Zealand Rugby Board. They had been wanting Foster to be renewed for a while, but it's clear they don't like Razor Robertson's dripping youth, his new vibe and the fact that he surfs and stuff. So they've given him a contract renewal up to the next World Cup in 2023, even though they have yet to face the Box or Argentina. So I don't understand this. That's why I think Tuinu is bang on. It doesn't make much sense. It's a real half-ass of a thing. If they're doing this now, they should have just given him 4 years at the very start.
Yeah, my impression
so
was
dumb.
he had 4 years already.
Yeah.
I agree. Why don't you just give him a long contract in the first place?
It was a fait accompli. It really was. I still
Out of
think.
curiosity, did they count the isolation period of COVID as well as part of it? Like, congrats, you've been unbeaten for the last 12 months.
Well, we did that with the Springboks.
No, true, we did that, but we did it for the bands. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't doing it as like workplace evaluation forms.
No,
Yeah.
well, so I was off work for 6 months of the last 12 months, and I had to do workplace evaluation, and I was like,
I've not met many achievables.
Yeah, well, I didn't fuck anything up in this time, so maybe give me a raise.
Go for it. Refer to it as Foster's law. Foster's principle.
Foster's law.
Guys, sorry, I'm gonna have to jump off. My headset's spot.
Okay.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Also, I think I said everything funny that I was planning to say. So, I wouldn't be of any value to you going forward.
Alex, do you want me to chat to your boss about this for your raise?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Send it from legal counsel.
Yeah.
It's Ben's cousin.
Oh, right.
No, it's my cousin, so I'll send it from
sending it from legal counsel would probably
legal counsel and blood relative.
It would probably reduce his credibility because
because
he actually knows Ben well.
Because he knows this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just hit him up on Facebook Messenger.
Thanks,
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, other theories coming out over this whole Bledisloe 3 debacle is that New Zealand were really trying to angle to get the games moved to Europe. A, was to earn more money, but B, also the company that would have been organising some of these fixtures has a relationship with one of the board members of New Zealand Rugby.
Hear that.
So, yes, there's a lot of conflict of interest. I could totally believe it because I always thought that New Zealand Rugby was a bunch of old doddering white men, but now they're a bunch of old doddering white men who are assholes, more than usual, I could believe that. It's a small market. They're looking to squeeze every penny they can out of the All Blacks brand. And speaking of which, actually, the All Blacks, they're going to have a new sponsor. It's the biggest sponsorship in rugby. I think from next year they're going to be sponsored.
Sponsorship, yeah.
No, that's unfair. They're not rapists. I apologize.
They're not
Ultra
domestic abusers.
I'm just trying to think like a brand of boxing gloves or something.
Oh, Everlast.
Everlast.
Yeah, Everlast. There we go.
Yes, yeah. They're going to be sponsored by Ultrad, which is a French construction logistics outfit specializing in concreting and scaffolding. and I mean they sponsor Montpellier. But the most interesting thing about this, yes, probably the biggest rugby sponsorship international. They're going to form a special relationship with the All Blacks. So the deal is worth 180 million New Zealand dollars over 6 years. But so in terms of this relationship, coaching connections, All Blacks games, and even Kiwi player contracts for Montpellier in the south of France will be part of this deal. So Altrad said he told the French rugby website Rugby Rama, in the contract, a partnership between MHR, which I think is his company, and the All Blacks is also planned. Excuse me. Exchange of skills will take place in particular at the level of coaches, training, and in addition, 4 matches of the All Blacks will be played in Montpellier between 2022 and 2026. It will then be necessary to find a credible international opposition. We will not make them face the MHR in plain language. That's the Montpellier club, I think. 4 games, and that's including All Blacks B, Maori, and Black Ferns. And then the deal will also see Montpellier becoming a pathway club for All Blacks wanting to play in France. And this is provided for in the contract.
I think that's the little footnote which they were actually after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very strange, like it's like this, like yeah, cool. It's the biggest jersey contract, like sponsorship deal ever. But there are so many strings tied to this. Like it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Remember the All Blacks used to be like pure, man. They didn't take sponsorships. They're like
Very much.
Barcelona or whatever.
No, well, remember they were like there was that private equity fund that the players' union blocked. Like that was this year still, I think, that whole story.
Yeah.
That wanted to like buy into like significantly into NZRU, and then
But
the players'
also,
union
it's
was
not.
blocked it.
It's like when British Airways sponsored the Springboks. Well, I think they still do.
I think
But
to an extent, yeah.
It's kind of a bit of a fuck you to your national kind of.
Oh no, well, Fly Safair now. They're the box local airline sponsor.
Who's our I'm assuming
British
BA
Airways,
must still be
yeah.
our funnel.
Yeah, probably. SAA don't
Yeah,
exist.
but they don't advertise as much. But I mean, like, it is a bit of a fuck you to any big construction companies in New Zealand, for example.
Yeah, especially.
That's it from the news for me, guys. I mean, I don't have anything further to add. I might have missed 1 or 2 things. So, anything you guys want to chat about?
Sorry, I was meaning to bring this up a bit earlier. Do you think this whole big announcement about Foster's contract being renewed, do you think he was actually sort of close to getting fired and it just all happened sort of back room and we didn't notice?
No, I don't think it's ever. But maybe if he lost to Fiji, but I don't think it's ever. That's the thing. This whole thing's a sham, as was the All Black coaching process. I don't think it was ever close to being fired. It's just everybody. It was a rubber stamp thing. And if you'd done poorly in the rugby championship, then he might have not gotten a renewal. And I think he's just a good company man. I mean, he's been involved in the setup since 2012, so he's got relationships with these guys going back ages. And then Robinson. I know Robinson's got a contract till 2024. But Foster just seems like the ultimate company man, and New Zealand Rugby just seemed like they don't want anybody to shake up the ship. They want things done their way. So I thought it was, that's just my view of it. It was always going to happen, and he lost to Fiji. So, yeah, it's fine. It gives us a better chance of beating them. I don't really rate him as a coach. So
No, but yeah. But sometimes I don't know the balance with the All Blacks. Like, you don't really want to overcoach them. No, but I think these days you have to be coached. Like, you can't just go into the field and just flare.
No, because I think that was AC's approach, wasn't it? Or that was sort of controversially what the senior players said about AC, about Alistair Coetzee. That he pretty much, him and Divi actually.
Yeah, I mean, saw how that ended. So. Anything else? Yeah. Anything else, boys?
No.
Yeah, no, I'm done. Inside a tight hour.
Yeah.
Just like Manscaped. Remember, Elite Rugby Bands at 20% off. Just go to
Yeah,
manscaped.com.
hopefully I'll be singing Manscaped's praises next week.
Yeah, let us know how your emails to. Maybe you could even drive to the Mauritian representative's house. I mean, how big is the island? It's not that big.
What 140th the size of New Zealand?
No.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. It's factual fact. If you have been listening, thank you so much for doing so. Alex, you're gone. Just thank you for joining us. Always appreciated. Ben, good luck. I hope you come right with your lawnmower for winter.
Yeah, no, I think I need to engage in some sort of protest. I don't think I'm going to shave until I get it.
Nice. Nice. And then when you shave, it'll just be all that more satisfying.
Yeah, not because you get that cool nose hair trimmer thing as well. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's boss
That
as well.
old. I feel like it's the most old man thing in that box, but it's the best.
Dude, I have. Yeah, I just say I need it. So yeah. Matt, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I hope you use the trimmer to the best
Yeah.
of its abilities.
No, I have, and unlike Alex, I wasn't that ballsy, and I didn't go no guard. I just had a guard up, and trimmed it down.
Yeah, well, you have to be a bit ballsy when using
I
these
did learn
products.
about this terminology. So there's like a. Okay, so Alex went like whatever
So
number naught.
yeah. So you get like a 2, like a 2 and a 3 or whatever.
So you have like designer stubble.
Well, yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
I've managed to do like a tight fade there, Ben. It like fades down from 0 to.
Yeah, I clearly getting old because I need to ask Natalie to do my ear hair, and you can hear her going like smashing it away, like a combine harvester. It's quite a satisfying sound, actually, knowing that she's clearing the path for better hearing.
Can you hear a lot better?
Not really. It just sounds good. Just a quick one. At least I can confirm that I won't be around next week. It's Jewish New Year. Got a family thing. So one of these fine gentlemen will be here, and maybe we'll get Ant, Phil, maybe a new special guest. Who knows? You never know with us, really. We're ballsy.
Might just get some random guy.
Oh, Andrew expresses interest in sharing his opinions and coming on.
I told some guy I was playing golf with the other day, and I was just and it came up. I was like, "Yo, I have a podcast." He's like, "Well, what the fuck do you know about rugby? I probably know more than you." I was like, "Well, then you get a fucking podcast, mate." Like,
exactly.
No, but then you said, do you have a sponsorship?
Well,
Manscaped.
we didn't have a sponsorship at that point. It was like 2
Oh.
months ago. So
Well, you should play golf with him again and just bring it up again.
I'm gonna be like,
Just rock up with the Manscaped, like the clipper, like in your belt loop, like ready to go.
Yeah. I'm gonna force him to shower after golf and look at my immaculately groomed pubes.
Nice.
Nice. And yes, and on that ball dropping moment, we will see you next week. Thanks for listening.